How did I numb out? How did I manage that without the drugs? Because it was so familiar because of my mom being a narcissist, her pimping me out to other narcissists. And I was so numb to that behavior. I was so conditioned, right? That like I didn't need drugs to make it tolerable. I had such a high tolerance for this behavior.
Oh, well, yeah, that makes total sense. You were groomed and conditioned into it.
If you've ever found yourself questioning your worth, walking on eggshells, thinking that you're crazy or you're remembering things incorrectly, and wondering how someone who claimed to love you could make you feel so small and like you're just easily discarded, this episode is for you. Narcissistic abuse doesn't always leave bruises, but it does leave invisible wounds that can steal your confidence, your voice, and your sparkle for decades. And today, I'm joined by one of the most beautiful women that I have met in my life, Azadeh. She is a three-time best-selling author, a counselor, and survivor of deep narcissistic abuse and domestic violence. And she is here to show you what it really takes to heal, to rise and rebuild, but in a realistic way, in a gritty way, not in a way that you've heard many people say before who just don't seem to get what happens and how your cells are actually changed by dealing with this level of toxicity. This is not just a story of survival. This is reclamation, and reclamation for all of us. Now, I need to say this trigger warning for this episode. She goes into graphic detail, and it's important that we share stories in this level of detail because, one, we want survivors to be heard and to have a voice because so many survivors aren't heard and don't have space held for them and are even told they're remembering incorrectly. And the other is I myself, as being raised by a narcissist mom and having endured a lot of abuse, as my longtime listeners know, and you can go binge the chapters of my book on here, From Abuse to Abundance, if you've not listened to that. I highly recommend you doing that, but that also comes with a trigger warning. But I healed so much by being able to hear other women's stories and men's stories in detail. It made me feel less crazy. It made me feel less alone. And that is one of the main ways that we heal is we heal together in community and not in isolation. Now, if you're in immediate danger or know someone who is in the US, call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. And I've also put that inside the show notes and in the description here on YouTube on Project Me TV for you for international resources, because I know this is a top 5 show in 57 countries. You can visit thehotline.org, thehotline.org, and I've also put that in the show notes. So this conversation is for anyone who's ever lost themselves or who feels lost right now in someone else's chaos and someone else's dysfunction and just utter evilness. And you know it's time to take your damn power back. Let us help you today. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help you grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your mindset, your relationships, and everything in between. Divine order has occurred, and I met someone when I was doing a keynote speech last week. And this woman, I was radiating, like I was being gravitated to her. I think she was also gravitated to me. There was just something there. And thankfully, I've done enough work to trust it. And you guys are just, you know, from the title of the episode, it makes sense. Her name's Azadeh, which is like very extra in of itself. She is an expert in narcissistic abuse recovery. We're going to talk about her story. We're going to get in the weeds of all of this because whether you identify as having been in a relationship with a narcissist, being raised by one, most people I know who listen to the show have been hurt, wounded, impacted negatively by a toxic person. Even perhaps, and we're going to break it down, the difference between truly like a psychopath and a narcissist. And we both have experiences with each side, unfortunately. And I want you to hear from us and learn how to truly be able to help yourself heal from it and detach from it, because this is not something that happens even in a year. Okay. Like, I understand how deep those wounds go. It's like they get in
Mm,
our cells. And just when you
mm,
think you're good, then something else pops up and you're not truly able to heal from this kind of abuse on your own. And I really want to stress that. And in my opinion, a therapist is great. I have a therapist, but you also need someone who's actually a survivor of narc abuse who specializes in helping people, which is what Azadeh does. She has several books. She has an incredible workbook. We're going to link everything in the show notes for you because I know you're going to want to devour it. She also has a podcast, which I'm going to be on, and we're scheduling it today.
yep.
And I truly feel, first of all, welcome. I know it was a long intro.
Woo!
You're
I'm
crazy. Also, I know you're crazy. So you
uh,
fit
for
in.
sure, for sure, for sure. Cray cray all the way. And thank you for having me. I radiated with you when you got on stage. I just didn't know why. What is it? The dress? Is it the hair? Is it the shoes? Is it what? And then you started talking. I was like, that's it. That's it. That's it. Now I found my soul traveler. Thank
Yeah, there's so
you.
much that we have in common, and I'm so curious, and that's why I didn't want to like talk to you much about like our experiences with this before, because I want the real reaction. I'm curious of the nuances, because would you agree? And then we're going to get into your story so people like understand that you really get it. Would you agree that people who experience narcissistic abuse or abuse from like a psychopath, it shows up differently for people? Like
No,
how you might be impacted by it might look or present differently than me.
oh, 100%. It's not a cookie cutter. It's not a cookie cutter. No, and there's different kinds of narcissists. And yeah, I do agree 100%.
So go
But the
ahead.
patterns, the story's different, but the pervasive patterns are the same.
I see what you're saying. It's like there's circumstances, there's nuances to people's behaviors and self-sabotage, but when you peel it back, the patterns, the cycles of a survivor all pretty much look the same.
Pretty much, pretty much. I mean, you could have just a little bit of difference based on personalities, life experiences, money, business, but it's a lot of the similarities. Yes.
So tell me about your experience. You were in a partnership, you had a boyfriend who was a narcissist. Is that what I understand?
Yeah, so I was literally born into abuse. I was born in Iran during the revolution. So there was a riot right outside my house, which right away my mom was saying it's a party. Like right away, there was a connection to abuse and trauma. But I will say this, that I was raised by a narcissist father, a covert narcissist, which ultimately launched me into a relationship. So the absence of a father, the absence of a protective father, and then on top abuse is only going to groom you for future narcs, for future abuse. You will gravitate to abuse and toxic behavior as such a familiarity. And as we are all built and born for evolution and evolvement, we are going to attract that relational template fast. It's going to feel warm. It's going to feel fuzzy. Think about that. It's going to feel correct, right on. It's going to feel good. And that's where the hard work that you talked about is so mandatory to know if this feel good is the new healed version of me or is the feel good the old version of me. And really time will tell, and a lot of emotional pain. But I'm going to jump right in, Tiffany, to that story. Is that this guy, I was I was like, I think 24 at the time, and now I'm 53. So I was about 24 at the time and already hardcore into drugs. I started drugs, alcohol, meth, all of that in high school. And I got kicked out of high school and craving, aching desperately for just a guy to show me some attention. Why? What's wrong with me? Why can't I get attention? Why can't I get asked out on a date? Why? And here comes a guy, 10 years older, not attractive at all, by the way. Like, not even a 12 pack would cure that. So,
Not even plastic surgery.
so it still blows me away, but this is how master manipulators they are. And I remember seeing him right away going, yuck, no way. And even in my desperate place, however, he was able to jump on a piano, then switch to a guitar and sing and knock my socks off.
Because that is hot. So he would like sing to you.
Yeah, so hot. His voice, I even have chills talking about it to this day. It hit me at such a level that immediately he went from, super fugly guy to this smoking hot babe because of the way he was able to move and sing and play the guitar, and he knew exactly what words to say and do to just get in, to get in my heart, to get in my heart space. And then I remember thinking, Azadeh, who cares about looks? Look at his talent. Look at how much people adore him. Look at how all of these people, all these other women and men are like, you know, like butterflies around him. That's what's hot. Don't you want that? Right? And by the way, he was married with two kids, not knowing yet. And so, so you're gonna love my story, and I'm so grateful to share it with you because it has today it's super, which is crazy, which is super fun to talk about because it's been 25 years ago now, because I'm happily married 15 years next week to my sweetheart. But anyway, so Tiffany, so I'm like, this guy. And then, of course, it really helped that we smoked meth together.
But you think that probably made you miss a few red flags?
We smoked meth together, and I thought he was a catch because he wasn't really pushing sex. We were smoking meth together. And little by little, the red flags start coming in. Oh, hide behind that mattress. My wife's home. What? What? Um, oh, we're divorced. Not really. I just live in her garage because I like to smoke meth around the clock and it's not cool for the 9 and 8-year-old. So, but you know what? It's thank you, God, and the work and the beautiful souls that showed me and guided my path through God, sponsors, mentors, therapists, books, my sweet husband, because he's also a survivor of narc abuse. Just so much work that I can actually like laugh, but really, it's really serious. But it was a very traumatic time. So, anyway, I'm going to speed up here. So now he's married, has two kids, lives in her garage. Okay. And now the things he loved about me all of a sudden really piss him off. The things he loved about me take him into a level of rage. I remember Tiffany walking into his house. All of a sudden he started charging me like I'm some guy he wants to kick his ass, where his friends had to hold him back. I just didn't understand it. I'm like, what did I do? What did I say? How could this person flip overnight like that? It makes no sense. Like that's probably that was I didn't even look at the behavior as much as the confusion of how a human being can love me today and tomorrow his friends have to hold him down so he doesn't kill me.
I mean, this is where narcs get people in the fog, fear, obligation, and guilt. You're
Yes.
in a state of complete bewilderment and confusion because you're not empowered in that state. You're
Yes,
disempowered.
yes. And I'm frozen now, right? Complex, complex PTSD. I fall into frozen instead of flight. And some people will fly. I do flight, but now I'm frozen. And I'm like, what is happening? I don't even understand. And his friends are begging me to leave because they can't hold him down.
So did they know? I mean, I know a lot of it's you looking back. Do you feel the friends knew, he was sick, or were they more so like a lot of people around narcissists, were they more like puppets and thought he was the greatest thing?
Puppets, and he was the greatest thing.
Taking a brief break because I do not want you ignoring, holding back, or settling for less money, a lesser lifestyle, less visibility than what you truly want for your business and what you want to do in showcasing your gifts, skills, passions, and talents online. Like you deserve to make a lot of money doing this. And I certainly do not want you to miss these two opportunities to get direct action and guidance step by step from me. Number one, my spring applications are closing soon for my exclusive 2 month private business coaching program. And if you want to work with me at the highest level, where you have everything completely customized from your profitable content plan to us packaging your offers and having the messaging around them, having a customized launch strategy, how we're going to grow your audience and not just with randos, but with people who are eager and excited to buy from you. That is the move. But of course, again, this is the highest level way to get everything completely customized, but it's also the fastest way to get results. You can go to the show notes and the application link is right in there by swiping up, or you can go to the description on YouTube on Project Me TV. The other thing I'm doing, which I am for sure not offering this ever again, I am walking you through live, step by step, how to create, price, and launch a profitable online offer that your audience is eager to buy inside my Project Me Posse group coaching membership. Okay. This is not just information, it's strategy, accountability, live support, and real time results with me in your corner for $100 a month. You see why this won't be offered again live? So if you wait, you will miss it. When you're a member, you will have unlimited access to those recordings. So even if you miss module one of this live training, you're okay. But I would not wait one more second. Go to projectmewithtiffany.com/, Project Me Posse, and all the links of everything that we're mentioning on today's episode from me and from our beautiful guest are inside the show notes for you.
His little flying monkeys, as I learned later. This relationship, but I was already trauma bonded. Plus we did the drugs together. So now this relationship, so I go back. And by the way, to our listeners, if you're going back repeatedly, it's not that you're broken. It's not that you're weak. It's not that there's something wrong with you. It's that you are smack middle of a trauma bond. Smack. And you could be trauma bonded to a parent, to a boss. It doesn't have to be a romantic partner. You could even be trauma bonded to a girlfriend, which I have, and I'll get into that because my cycle repeated until I was like, it's me that's in all these. Not,
Same, same. And it showed up everywhere in my business
yep,
with females was we'll get to it, was that was the most shocking to me because I think there's just also a lot of like books and information out where it's mostly focused on like the love relationship, narc stuff and even parental narcs, but like female friend narcs I've not seen. Now I see a little bit. I still don't see that much about it. And that's shook me the most.
right. Same with me because there's some kind of a kinship with girlfriends and we grow and then all of a sudden it's my parent all over again. What?
So was this boyfriend, when he somehow, sprung it on you that he was married with kids, what did you end up telling yourself in that trauma bond to wrap your head around that and make that okay?
So sad, but I'll tell you, great question. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win.
He'll want me. He'll love me.
Want
Yeah.
me because now he's my drug supplier. He's the one that has, here's the key, love bombed all my wounds. Not just, oh, Azadeh, you're amazing. Here's flowers. No, 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 no. A love bomb can sniff my wounds and go and speak love into it.
I've never heard it said that way.
Do
That is it. Wow.
you get it?
I literally I can feel it like in my chest. That is what they do because there's the generic kind of narcissist, yeah, who does like the grandiose, the dozens of flowers, but the ones that really put the ointment and
Yes.
on the wounds, now I'm like I was like putty in those people's hands.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's so, and here we are supposed to be made in the image of God. I mean, it's like, wow. So, this relationship, now he's starting to name call, verbal abuse is on, emotional abuse is on. And he had promised me, Tiffany, he cannot get me pregnant. He's like, Azadeh, after 2 kids, I had a vasectomy. I swear I cannot get you pregnant. Believed him, and here I am pregnant. Here's when it got really ugly is I found out I'm pregnant and he was the only guy I was with. And when I told him I'm pregnant, he started laughing. I was enraged by his laughter because he had lied to me. I told him, trigger warning for everybody. I'm getting rid of it. I'm not having your kid. That's when he decided I'm going nowhere. Took my keys, locked the house. By then, by the way, he had moved into his friend's house and was renting a room, and they were all gone on like a 3-week vacation. He goes, you ain't going nowhere. Took my keys, fucking kidnapped me for, well, I think it was 3 or 4 days. And here I am withdrawing from the drugs. He wouldn't give me any to weaken me. I'm exhausted, I'm pregnant, and I'm just losing my shit. He's watching every move I make to make sure I don't leave the house. He's walking around doing drugs in front of me and saying, I'm not giving you any because you're going to have my kid, whether you like it or not. I'm like, how do I get out of here? I have to get out of here. How do I get out of here? The third or fourth day, I waited for the moment. And this is where Stockholm Syndrome kicked in, but then I was able to kick it back. I had a moment of clarity to Azadeh, just go ahead and win his affection so that he can feel safe to leave your sight,
This
right?
is literally what like anyone who survived a kidnapping is what they do.
Is what they do. Like that. I don't know if you saw that movie with Kara. I follow her. She's fire. She's the one that did the same thing to her abuser. Who anyway, it's a movie on Netflix. I can't remember the name of it now, but she's this amazing superhero. So he moved away. I saw the keys. Tiffany, I started to run towards my car. I'm not kidding you. I hear all of a sudden his feet running after me. I all of a sudden I hear these large objects go by my side. Fire logs, fire logs. He's throwing fire logs at me as he's chasing me. Whoom, whoom, whoom. And it hits the car. I knew if at that moment, if I turned around, that would second of turnaround would slow me down enough. It was like God was telling me, you can't slow down. You can't turn around. Don't. I don't know how I got the keys in the car, got in, and now those logs are hitting my car. And I got out and I left. And God, I wish I could tell you that was the end, and it wasn't at all.
You went back.
Oh, yeah. I went and took care of. I was so scared because my parents had told me if you get pregnant, you're shunned. You can't live with it. You can't. It has to be within a Persian. It has back then they thought it has to be a Persian guy, and we have to approve. And if you get pregnant, because my dad's a doctor and he's a bigwig in the Persian community.
Of course he is.
Of course he is. So probably about a month later, maybe 3 weeks later, I'm having the trauma bond and the drug withdrawals. And I start rationalizing what happened, thinking he was just hurt. The lies we tell ourselves, he was just hurt that I was getting rid of his kid. No, he's not.
Like he loves me so much.
Pretty
He would
much.
that
Yes.
that's why he was upset because I
Right.
would dare get rid of the child we produced together.
Right. We go back to doing drugs. It takes him about 2 days to stop berating me, battering me verbally and emotionally. Now he's starting to hit me, smack me, throw me. And I'm like, just whatever. At this point, I just somehow just shut it off or shut it down to where now I've normalized this in the relationship, the verbal, emotional, and physical abuse. Tiffany, I remember I remember him running to the store and I just had to go through his stuff. I started going through his stuff and I found a bunch of videotapes of him having sex with me and other people recorded.
And were the recorded ones of were not aware that you were recorded?
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. Shocked, right? And knowing he's going to pull up in about 2 to 3 minutes because he just went to the store. Shocked that the girls that have come over that I thought were just friends, even the guys, I mean,
Which
we're
is also common with narcs.
yeah, yeah,
They're everyone is fair game.
yeah. They have absolutely no preference or morals or I do believe he was a psychopath, which is much more dangerous than a narc. I mean, they overlap characteristics so much, but I would just say think of a narc and a psychopath with a higher escalation of those characteristics, the higher on the spectrum. So, anyways, I see this and I think, oh my God, he's gonna pull up, but is that really me? I remember my brain fighting it, going, that's not really you, but I hear my voice. But that's not really you, but that's what it looked like that in the room that night when you guys were together. No, that's not really me. I don't want to believe it. I don't want to believe that this is what I'm seeing. My brain, because that's what happens with our brain, because it doesn't know what to do with it, so it's going to want to shut it down and file it in the brain stem, right? So here he pulls up. I got to act like everything's cool because now there's a conflict between my safety and my addiction. I want the drugs, man. I want the
And
drugs.
you also want the drugs, right? Of like the emotional drugs that he's gotten you addicted to with him as
Yes,
well.
smart. Absolutely. That's brilliant comment. The highs and lows are what's keeping me from falling apart completely.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's a chemical reaction, just
Yes,
like drugs. It's like your inner drugstore. So you just have it
exactly.
magnified. You've got the actual drugs, and then you have the hormonal, the dopamine, you've got the inner drugs. So you're even more enmeshed with him than even someone like me who didn't have the drug aspect. I don't think I'd be alive. Honestly, if I had the drugs on top of it, I don't think I would have made it. That's insane.
Yeah, I know. It is insane. And but then on my end, as a drug addict, I wonder how the hell your brain survived.
How did I numb out? How did I manage that without the drugs?
Yes, that's my where my brain goes.
That's fair.
How did like you
Because it was so familiar because of my mom being a narcissist and her pimping me out to other narcissists and I'm sure psychopaths. I was so numb to that behavior. I was so conditioned, right? That like I didn't need drugs to make it tolerable. I had such a high tolerance for this behavior.
Oh, well, yeah, that makes total sense. You were groomed and conditioned into it. It became your norm, especially from the hands that are supposed to love you. So, um, I can't wait to have you on my podcast. I have so many questions for you. So anyways, he came home and I just did addiction one. I did drugs and shut it down and let it go. And more verbal emotional abuse. um there was one time, it's kind of funny. I was in the garage doing drugs with him and his wife pulled up and I remember going, man, I don't want, because I'd already had been arrested and had gone to jail for drugs and had done some time in jail in my 20s. And I thought to myself, oh my God, I don't want to get arrested. So she pulls up and they used to fight. Now I'm like, okay with him being married and living there. And, I got groomed and conditioned little by little. I remember, I'm not kidding you, Tiffany, running out of the garage, running up the tree and sitting on top of the tree. And she was like, she saw my car. She's like, Azadeh, you home wrecker. She had my purse in her hand. Where are you? And I'm above her. They never looked up. I'm in that tree, sitting up there, which is funny now because I thought, shit, the cops coming in.
And at any point, you sitting in this tree, were you like, I'm at an all-time low. This is this is insane, or had it not hit you
Yet,
yet?
not yet, not yet. And I felt some kind of high because I was able to be above them and look down at them, and they're looking for me. So it was like this authoritative, like some false authoritative feeling that I'm above them. So she's driving over my purse back and forth, reverse drive back and over my purse, screaming my name. And I thought the cops would come. I just didn't want to go back to jail because I'd been arrested several times for drunken public, DUI, possession of meth, shoplifting. I mean, it was a shit show. I didn't want to go to jail. And so I was staying up there. And she's driving back and forth on my purse and going, well, how are you? And like 6 hours later, she left. And then I came down and he's like, hey, where you been? I'm like, up there.
You were in the tree for six
Like six
hours?
hours because I was scared because I thought the cops are going to come any minute. There's such a paranoia effect to meth users, you know? I mean, the cops know, I mean, that's not even a paranoid situation because when you're screaming and there's domestic, cops come. They didn't, but normally they do. So that's another incident. I think the incident that kind of, that not kind of, that shook me up, but still not enough to leave was the time when so I told my parents I got to get sober. I can't get sober. I got to get off the drugs. I just lock me in the house. They're like, yeah, whatever it takes. I go, just lock me in the house. And back then, I don't know if you remember if you're of my age, but we had the instead of alarm, we had the club that you put on the steering wheel.
What?
Do you remember the club that
No.
no, okay, so back in the day, instead of well, we had alarms too, but you could protect your car from theft by putting a club on the steering
I
wheel.
think I remember seeing the infomercials. It's basically like a giant stick on your
Yeah,
steering wheel.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So I was like to my parents, oh, put a club, lock me out. I won't, so I can't go get drugs. Makes sense. They're like, yeah, whatever, whatever. So I did that, and then the obsession and the withdrawals kicked in. So I called him. I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna call him. I was like, Ray, I don't care. His name is Ray Brooks. I don't care. It's been 25 years. I go, hey, can you come pick me up? He's like, yeah, I will. So I'm thinking I'm just going to get drugs. I don't care at this point what it takes to just get high. I don't care who he is, what he's done, what he's going to do. I just need to get loaded. And he always had drugs on him. So he comes over and he wants sex. So I give it to him. And we get in the car. Tiffany, he's going 80 miles per hour on a residential. And I'm like, I mean, I don't know, somehow I can't take this. He's coming so close to people and homes and cars that I thought, I don't think I can do this. I can't do this. So I confronted him thinking that we could talk. I don't know why then. Oh, I saw videos of you having sex with other men and women. That only escalated his rage. So now he's going even more crazy on the streets. And I thought, Azadeh, think. I go, hey, Ray, can you pull over? I just want to get some beer. He's like, you got money? I'm like, yeah, I got money. He pulls over just to get the car to slow down. He pulls over, goes to a red light. Tiffany, I open the door to get out. He goes, oh no, you fucking bitch. And he grabs my arm. He had a beer bottle in his hand and broke it over my face.
Wow.
Newport Beach. I don't know if you know where Newport Beach is. PCH. off 32nd Street in PCH. Now I'm like, what? I still have the scar up here. And then he takes off. My face, my head is bleeding so bad. Like all I'm trying to do is do the windshield wiper thing so I could see. I can't see. I can't see. And luckily there was a park ranger behind us that called the police. And within seriously 12 or 20 miles, he got pulled over, went to jail.
Wow.
I'm standing there and I can't see. The blood is coming down like thunder rain. I can't wipe fast enough. And there's a guy, and he goes, I called an ambulance and I called the police. I go, I'm in shock. So I don't even know what he's saying. I can't even process what he's saying to me. Ambulance comes, takes me to the hospital. They look at me instead of taking care of me. And this is how society views drug addicts. They look at me, see, recognize it's domestic violence, and then instead of helping my wound, they go through my purse and look at my arms to see if I'm a intravenous shooter. Look at my purse. They want to check me to see if I've got drugs or any weapons on me. And I didn't. And I just remember, you know what? This is what's weird. I almost expected it from him. But the people that were supposed to care for me, that was the shock. I was so desperate for soothing and care, and they were just treating me like the throwaway of the world, like a piece of shit. Like the way they were talking to me and the way they were asking me questions and suspicious and how disgusting I am was the treatment. And I remember calling my mom, going, Mom, you gotta come pick me up. She goes, No, we're done. We're done. I can't do this and I can't do you. I go, please pick me up. I'm just sitting at Hoag Hospital in Newport Beach, sitting there. Talked her into coming to get me. She kept saying in an hour, in an hour. Well, 8 hours went by. She finally came and picked me up. I'm bloody. There's blood everywhere. I got like 8 or 10 stitches here in my forehead because this is where he hit, right up here. And I go, and she's not talking to me, and she's driving, and I go, where are we going? This doesn't look like home. Where are we going? And she goes, we're going to take you somewhere. I go, oh, no, you fucking not. I opened the door and I started to jump out because I can't do anymore. I can't say anymore. I need safety. I needed, and she goes, no, don't jump out. We'll go home. We'll go home. We'll go home. I go, okay, we go home. And my father, the piece of shit, covert narc, is shamed of his daughter. So shamed of his daughter. What a shame. Not talking to me. By the way, silent treatment is not a boundary. And they play the answering machine, and there's like 70 or 60 whatever, lots of voicemails from the wife, Ray's wife. You home wrecker, you piece of shit. And the daughters are in on it. They're screaming in my parents' answering machine back, answering machines we had. And I'm like, I can't get away. And my mom goes, you know what? I can't have you here. I can't have this. I can't, you got to get out of here. Let us just take you somewhere. And so they took me to a hospital, and I told them I'm a drug addict. They're like, we can't help you. They took me to another place called Royale Hospital, which they ended up 5150ing me that same day, that night, and put me and left me there. And so that was probably the worst day and the most traumatic day of my life. Starting in the morning with Ray, and then all the way to nighttime, my own parents 5150ing me. And I stayed there probably about 8 days, and you should really just be there 48 hours. But they kept me there, and now I can see why, because and this is the problem with our therapists, and I'm working more towards teaching therapists and doctors that how these dynamics are versed, because even I, as a college graduate with a degree and as a counselor, I was not taught this. We're just not taught this in education. We're just not talked about personality disorders. And so anyway, they were trying to manage my rage that was caused as of what is called reactive abuse. Reactive abuse is the victim is expressing radical rage and anger from what has happened to them, and they view that as the problem, right? Versus who or what caused it. So got to be very, very careful about the person throwing chairs or acting out. Is that the real narc or is it the victim of the narc? And you got to be versed in these dynamics. So anyway,
Well, and that's what happens though
yeah,
with these narcs is they do all this manipulation, crazy making behavior. It pushes us to the point of insanity. And then
yeah.
we act out, scream, yell, throw shit, whatever. And then they love that because then they go, then they're so, my mom loved doing that.
Yeah,
What's wrong? What's wrong?
wrong.
Really calm. What's going on with you?
Right,
Where is all this anger coming from?
right.
And then when you're in that spot because you're so sick, you're like, and you normally don't even act that crazy. You're like, oh, well, maybe it is me. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm the problem. And then they can convince you. And often, like you said, medical professionals as
yeah,
well.
for sure. And that's such a good, easy, digestible understanding of what you just said. And I just did a video on it yesterday, and you and I kind of talked on it. We commented back. They push and poke and provoke until you snap, and then they get soothed, and that's the evil abuse. They get soothed by us snapping so that they can say, "What's up with you? You need help. You're crazy. You need meds or whatever. It's you." And if we're not versed, we think maybe it is me because look at the way I'm acting. And
Well,
that's
and coming from a childhood where it was dysfunctional, and you were already set up to believe that something was wrong with you, right? You're inherently like flawed, right? Like you already had shame, so did I. So it isn't that far of a stretch for someone to say, you're bad, you're wrong, you're too much this, too little
yes,
this because
yes.
we kind of have already been taught that.
Yes, yes. And that's such a good correlation and bringing it to what you do. And this is where I'm so passionate is that these residues, and if residues from the past, or if you're in that relationship now, is going to keep you from thriving in your business because all of those boogeymen trauma wounds are going to be calling to not show up, to not want abundance. Your business will not thrive unless you heal. And this goes into what you do. And to heal means a fire thriving business. It just does. You have to. It's not just for a guru thing to heal and rebuild and recreate your life. It is foundationally mandatory to have a thriving business. It just is. Otherwise, you can't. You just can't. You can't have relationships. You can't have a business. You'll go into hiding, or you'll attract another narc, or you'll walk around victim, and that's no way to live.
Yeah, and it really is one of those three ways. And
What do you think?
I went the path of I went the path of narc after narc after narc after narc. And while people thought on the outside, because I did all of this while being a CEO of a company, then having
Yeah,
my own
yeah,
company.
yeah.
So, but I wasn't thriving. This was
Right.
only happening out of sheer grit, insanity, and survival. There was no peace. There was
Oh.
no abundance in any of it.
So you were just got really good at performance.
I was bred to perform. So that is what I did is put on a performance and every day when I would come home, which is where the isolation often comes in, right? Is that it really felt like I was taking off a costume. It was so peaceful to be alone.
Wow. I really got that vision.
The
Well,
show, like the show was done for the day.
Yeah.
I didn't have to put on the show anymore. And I used to have a name for it, the Tiffany show. I just had no idea. I didn't understand like the wounding behind it. I just truly thought this is how life is. We like put on a show in the world. Like I thought this was normal.
Yeah, I totally resonate with that. And that part of us that we think insanity, sexual molestation, assault, battery, it's coming from a parent that okays it is just how life is. Learn, we we just learn, we don't question it. We don't doubt it. We just do
It
it.
like we know it's not at a certain point, that's not like a positive thing, but I normalized it. Like well, a lot of people deal with this, right? Like this is not that uncommon. Did you go back to this boyfriend after being in
Oh,
the psych ward?
yeah, yeah, I did. Unfortunately.
No.
Yes. So fucked up.
How many more rounds did you go?
Uh,
And when were you actually done? Like what did done
look
for good
like.
look like to you?
Yeah, so after the beer bottle, he went to jail, and by the time it was 20 days he was in jail, I was starting to fiend the trauma bond, missing him, wanting him. Just my soul was calling him. So I went back when he got out of jail 30 days and we got a hotel room. And this is when I don't know if you're familiar with the book, The Body. Did we talk about it when I saw you at the event? The
The
Body.
body keeps the score. Yeah.
It was you or somebody talked
I
to
don't
about.
remember us talking about it, but I know the book.
Okay, so then it was someone else. We got a hotel room and we're doing drugs, and I'm thinking it's over, done with. It's been a month. We moved on, whatever. I'm doing drugs. My body will not sit still around him. My body is shaking, and he's gaslighting me and brainwashing me and hiding shoes, clothes. Next thing you know, it's like he would just tell me, "You didn't come with shoes. You're crazy. You're doing too much drugs. I'm not going to give you anymore." So he's doing all the drugs. And I thought, you know what? Because I couldn't stop my body from shaking around him, I realized I can't even be around him if I want to. I can't stop shaking. I'm not even getting the drugs I want. So we're in a hotel and I thought, I don't even have fucking shoes. 'Cause I know I came with shoes, but he's telling me I came barefoot. No, I didn't. I came with shoes. He hit him, did something. At that point, in a long t-shirt, spun out on drugs, barefoot, I walked over to the payphone. I called a place called Casa del Cerro, which means house on the hill. And I had gone there and tried to become sober before and left after 5 days. I said, "Hey, it's Azadeh. Can I gotta get sober. I'm done. I'm off this. I want to be off the streets, off this guy. I want to be off." She was like, "Come home." I was like, no one ever said that to me. No one ever said that to me, ever. They either thought I was a terrorist because I'm Persian, or I'm a piece of shit throwaway drug addict, or never, never. So I thought, how can I do this? I don't even have money to take the bus. It's him or nothing. So I so I figured it out. And this is where survival kicked in. I went back to the hotel. I go, "Hey, why don't you my mom left me $200 to kick me out of the life, but my last $200, drive me to my house. I get the $200, we'll go get more dope in a hotel." And he's like, "Yeah." So this whole time, so I get him to drive me to the house. Oh, prior to that, I called my mom. I go, "Mom, I'm done. I swear to God, I'm done. I'll go anywhere." I found a place, a detox to go to get sober. She's like, "You can't stay." I go, "I know. Just drop when I get to the house. I'll wait for you to get home from work. Take me to the detox." She's like, "Fine." So I get him to drive me to the house, which he wouldn't have, but because I made up this bullshit, he drove me to the house. I jumped over the fence. I was like, "Yes." And I got in, and now he's parked outside. And um, he's starting to call. I go, "Ray, you got to get out of here." My mom called the cops.
Wow. You were really thinking on your you were thinking like a true, a true survivor thinks. Your like you said, your survival skills. That's what our fight or flight response is truly meant for, is for
Yes,
these types of situations,
yes, exactly.
not to live in that daily.
Not to live in that daily. Like there's a gorilla or a bear in my next to me all the time. How do I? So then I was like, you got to get out of here. The cops are coming. My mom called the cops. I didn't know. You got to go. He took off. Perfect. She comes and she took me to detox and fuck, I still called him. I
In
called,
when you were inside the rehab?
yeah, I was indeed back then. So I've been sober 23 years. So back then, they didn't have alcoholism and drug addiction as like an insurance way to deal with it. It was a free place where you get cleaned up, sober up, you got chores to do. It's not clean, it's not ideal, but it's a place. You have a bed and food, but you got to like get up, stay sober, do what they say, things like that. So after like 2 weeks, I called him to come to visiting hour to bring me and Cheryl, the same woman that answered the phone and said, come home. She came, she goes, Azadeh, come here. And I go, what? She goes, who is that? Is that who I think it is? And I go, yeah. She goes, you got 10 seconds. Either you go with him or he's out of here. Decide now. I was like, because he was telling me, let's get out of here. I got an 8 ball. I got a car. I got drugs. I go, oh my God. Oh my God. You gotta go. And I decided to stay. And I stayed. And I stayed 90 days. And those drug addicts helped me not call them, not pick up drugs, and stay 90 days clean from the world, from my family, from the streets, from the drugs, from him to really get a shot at life. And I stayed 90 days and I've been sober since. I did see him one more time after that. This is the last time, which is crazy because I decided I was going to go help drug addicts get sober. So I went back to school. So because of school, they want you to do internship at I chose to do internship at a drug and alcohol probation. So I'm walking in 9 months sober and he calls me and he goes, hey, Farsi. He never called me Azadeh. I speak Farsi. So he just had that as a nickname. He's
Which
like,
is very derogatory, I
yeah,
think.
it is. Yeah, it is. And it's creepy. It's like, hey,
Be
Farsi.
like calling someone like, "Hey, French," like, oh,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's really weird.
it's really weird. I look over and I see a frail old man and it's him. And my knees started knocking like that. And I thought I was going to pee my pants right then and there. I really felt it. And I looked and I made sure he stayed eye contact with me. And I walked over to where it says employees only. I opened the door and I looked over to make sure he sees me and I walked in. And that was my last sweet moment with this guy. That was it. I was done. I showed him that he didn't break me. He didn't take me down. He didn't have the effect that he hoped he had. When he was watching, it was and I, ever since then, I chased that rush to take my power back. That's why I wrote the books. That's why I do all the things I do. Everything I do in the sense of empowerment is because that was the best drug. When he was looking at me, open the door that said employees only, and go in and be like,
You need to hear this right now. Sitting on your gifts, waiting for the right time, saying that you need to try to figure it out, that you're going to do it when, that is a form of self-abandoning behavior, and we are not going to do that any longer. We have no idea how long we get to be here in this beautiful life. And if you want to have the freedom, the level of wealth where you don't have to depend on any person, place, thing, job, or institution for money again. There's nothing that's trapping you, nothing that's holding you back from taking the trip you want to make, live where you want to make, do what you want to do, help the people that you want to help. You've got to get into action. And I have made it to where it's a no-brainer. Like, you can't come up with an excuse for this one. My live course that I am doing only one time inside my ProjectME Posse group coaching membership, I will be walking you through exactly how to create and launch your first profitable offer online. So it's not information. Like, we're doing it in real time together and it's happening. So you can no longer go, I need to do this. I want to do this. I'm stuck in doing this. I don't know where to start in doing this. I've just not made the time to do this. No, we are doing it and we're doing it together, but you've got to make a move now. Number one, we have a limited amount of new member spots. I keep this membership to an intimate size so I can, in integrity, refer to it as a group coaching membership where you get that experience. Okay. You're not lost in the sauce in there. and we are almost at max capacity. So go to the link inside the show notes or projectmewithtiffany.com/Project Me Posse. Make that move. Also, my spring applications for my exclusive 2 month private business coaching program are going to be closing. And I do not know if I am taking on any private clients this summer or not. Okay. I am finalizing my plans to be gallivanting and luxuriating through Europe, and I might not take any. And it's exactly what I teach you, how to set your business up so you have the freedom to live your life on your terms while you have money coming in at the same time. You're not held hostage by trading your time for money anymore and feel like you can't go away and you have to be absolutely tethered to your business at all times. Otherwise, your revenue goes down. So make a move if this is where you want to really take things to another level and absolutely see the change in your life. You know what you need to do, you know where to access it. I'd be honored to coach you. And we know that narcissists like literally don't care. Like they really they just have they go for other supply. But
Yeah,
if there's one thing that makes them squirm more than anything is when we are truly detached and we give no fucks at
yeah,
all. And they can feel it.
yeah, yeah. They can feel it because there is that soul. Um, there's a whole nother spiritual realm around narcissists and their victims, but you're right, they do. They can feel we're detached emotionally. They can feel it. And that's our win, the indifference. And that, and then ever since then, and then I started helping other girlfriends in my recovery circles that were in these dynamics. And then I decided at 40 to go back to school, get educated, and really do a deep dive and really help these women because all my friends are like in these kind of dynamics. And so,
Isn't there a statistic that it's like 30% of people are have like severe narc tendencies? Like, isn't there a high percentage of people that have this?
it's an epidemic and it's growing. Narcissists breed narcissists, right? And so they either breed a codependent, empath, codependent, or another narc. That's just what happens. And so it's an epidemic, and research says you're going to be blown away when I give you this number. This is what research, reputable research says, out of every six human beings, there's one narc. So just think of the event we were at, not to freak you out, but just
There
think.
there are a few there. Listen, this tracks with my life to where I started even gaslighting myself at a certain point last year because I went, am I starting to think that like everyone's a narcissist?
Yeah.
Because I felt like there were so many, and the reality is I think that I've done so much work that I can see them now and I can see them faster.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I agree. I do believe that. We do, and we get that gift. There are fruits from the work and being in these dynamics. The discernment really heightens. And sometimes it's not even them doing anything. It's my body reacting to them. And they're
I
doing
want you to speak a little bit about that. Like, I know everyone's body might react differently, but what are some ways that you've seen in all the people that you've worked with, or even in yourself to this very day, when you're around certain people, or like you said, you've had, narcs show up in friendships that you didn't realize were narcissists until later. What were some of the physical signs in your body that your body was trying to tell you something?
oh my God, it's like those, it's electric, it's intense.
Like the beginning stage.
Beginning stage, there's just a really strong pull to want to be around them, really get high from their phone calls. Their text, it's like, it's not human, but it feels good and right. My stomach will drop around them, so it could be all of these things, and it doesn't matter which or what, when, but that electric feeling, that magnetic draw to them, my stomach will drop. sometimes I'll feel super drained being around them, or I start editing my thoughts and how I want to show up. I start seeking their approval before I see them. I'm now no, I'm losing myself again in this relationship because the people that really love me, don't care how I show up. They just care how I am, right? But when I start editing my thoughts or I lose my opinion, I don't want to talk about certain things. Mostly though, the nervousness, the stomach drop, racing heartbeat, dry mouth, editing thoughts. But in the very beginning, there's a very, very strong magnetic pull that feels like excitement and
Yeah,
alive.
I mean, I think anyone who's experienced this, which my guess is most of my listeners, I always say it's like a moth to the light. What
Yes.
does a narcissist really get out of doing this to people? And I mean male and female. Like, you know, in female friendships, or if you have someone who works for you or a boss that's a narcissist, what are they really getting? Is it like, a superiority high?
Yes, it is. So a narcissist, it's a really good question. A narcissist has to keep the external up, always has to keep the external up. If they don't, which is supply. So what they need out of me and you is narcissistic supply, attention, affection, agreement, approval, control, dominance, um, your empathy, your love. They need all of yours because they can't give it to themselves. So they need that ongoing narcissistic supply, which is their drug, which is all of those things. When they start not getting it, is when the mask will start to slip and you start seeing the evil. I mean, I've seen some really scary eye stares at me.
The dead eye, like where there's
Yeah.
nothing and it's like black.
Yeah, it's like black. It's like a shark. It's creepy as heck. I've seen it. So they need that narcissistic supply. And the more you conform into their identity and approve of their identity, they stay satiated. But when you start awakening and you start having your own ideas, your own
Or
opinions,
like setting a boundary or saying that hurt my feelings or expressing any needs
yeah,
whatsoever.
yeah, yeah. Or if you get sick, you get sick and you can't like give them that constant admiration, that constant approval, that constant, oh yeah, and that's a good one. I have set an actual boundary one time with one woman, and she literally went through this rampage. This was 3 years ago, and tried to get a hold of all my clients and trying to smear campaign me.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
One boundary. One
I've
boundary.
ex I've experienced more when you really add up all the people. I mean there were a lot in my childhood, but I was shocked the most because I guess I wasn't, even though my mom's a narc, you would think I would assume there's a lot of female narcissists out there, but they are packaged differently, and so it's just different. The love bombing isn't the same. You're not, like if it's a platonic relationship, you're not like, there's not, the sex isn't involved. And, but like you said, the body still reacts a certain way. But as soon as I had a friendship where as soon as when I was sad, like, which is, I guess you could say, like when you said being sick, it really resonated with me, where I was down and not like just having a bad day. Like we all go through some like hard seasons in
Yeah,
our life. That
yeah.
was inconvenient. That was
Right.
not working for her. And so she shamed the fuck out of me for it. And then, of course, I thought, God, maybe I am being like victim-y because I'm kind of well, I have fucking depression. I am medicated for it. But I
Right.
then was like, well, maybe I'm being kind of a downer, da da da, like, and I put it back on myself. And then I did alter how I behaved. I kind of avoided her if I didn't think I could put on the show. If I didn't feel I could put on the mask of like being in a better mood.
Yes. Yes, and that's isn't that wild how we start slowly doubting ourselves and working harder and performing like we did in our childhood. I exactly.
But
Oh,
even after all, I mean, you do this for a living, and I think this is important for people to hear that take the shame off themselves. You
yes.
studied this, you write books on this, you help hundreds and hundreds of people with this, and you didn't pick up on, you've had narcissists come in that you didn't like catch until you did. Like you didn't pick up on it.
Oh, absolutely, because they never show up with abuse, right, Tiffany? I work with couples, and I think that I'm doing the best damn job in screening. So I meet with them each individually, build trust, build rapport, get a really good reflection of who, what, where they are, and then I bring them together as couples. And I've gotten better, obviously, sharper, but I remember having one that was was totally, I didn't see it coming until I did, but I didn't see it coming a lot longer than I had thought compared to my awareness and my books and all and living it. I still was sideswiped, and it goes back to the question you were asking earlier. They can hold it together for a really long time. They can hold it right, and they're such master manipulators. Their whole thing is about studying you, understanding you, knowing you, and smelling and whiffing your wounds, even through making you laugh is their way of studying you. And so, then they come at you sideways. So yeah, here's the deal. No narcissist shows up with abuse. They either show up as a rescuer or a victim. Or no, yeah, rescuer or victim.
What about like a rescuer is a hero? Yeah. So
Yeah,
like either it's I'm rescuing you, like I'm your savior, I'm the white knight, I'm the best friend you always wish you had, and here
yes,
I am.
yes,
Or it's the, and
yes.
when you say the victim, speak on that because I think a lot of us can see the rescuer, like, the person who's caring for all of our wounds and I'll be there for you forever. And that person, what does a victim-based narcissist do?
And that's a good one. That is the covert narc, which is the most dangerous. And that's my father. And I didn't see it for until my brother died of an overdose 6 years ago. That's when I started to really see his because I always thought it was overt. But the victimhood is just really sweet, shy. You want to like attend to them. You want to help them. You want to support them. And then they also will admire you. They will idealize you. Okay.
Which
So
does feel
good.
good. Sometimes now it feels uncomfortable, but
Yes.
then I brush it off. I'm like, I understand because I've like really looked up to mentors and like
Sure.
bosses before. So I'll like brush off. That's really my body, my gut instinct, right? Telling me something. There's a flag here.
There's a flag here.
Because that's someone fawning, right?
Well, fawning is more like, yeah, it can be fawning, but fawning can also show up. It can show up in that stage. It can also show up during abuse. Well, you're actually getting berated and belittled, and you start fawning for them to stop. So it can show up in both ways. You're absolutely right. And you know what? I don't like it. Okay, you can compliment me. Oh, Azadeh, amazing. You wrote 4 books. Thank you. That feels really good. But then when it's another time, okay. But if it keeps going and going, then to me that feels uncomfortable, like there's a manipulation involved. You can compliment me. I can compliment you and say you're a badass, you're crushing it, a business, this, that. And you're like, right on, high five. Thank you. Thank you for seeing me. That's healthy. But when it won't end, when it won't stop, then it's like, okay, that's enough. Like, that's what's
But
up.
then did these covert narcissists or victim-based narcissists, but then they flip on a dime on you, don't they?
They can when you set the boundary. When you set the boundary and start, this is when the mask slips, when you start questioning their character, when you start questioning their behavior, when you start questioning their lack of accountability and contribution to the relationship. Uh,
I
the,
mean, I have like 5,000 light bulbs going off in my head. I'm not as familiar or well versed in this type of a narcissist, but now I am understanding more what you're saying. It's like someone who almost even acts like helpless, like a damsel in distress even.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's just a different form of manipulation.
It is. And the whole purpose of that, this is so important for you and I to talk about as entrepreneurs in the social media, in the world, is that they will come to you as a victim, right? Let me not lose my thought here. They come to you as a victim, but what happens if you have wounds, you will want to help because that's what we do. I'm a Christian woman, I'm a faith follower, so I like to help. Right. And so what happens though in those dynamics, if you're not careful, they will keep idolizing you as you continue to help and rescue or support or do whatever. Next thing you know is their problems have become yours and now you feel responsible for it. And here's the dagger that you don't see that the hook that they put in you is that when you stop or slow down, now they have embedded a guilt reaction to when you start to choose yourself because you've lost yourself in all of their issues. And now when you want to pivot back to you, now you're going to have to confront the guilt if it's real or fancied, or if it's so then to deal with the guilt, if you're not in any kind of recovery, to 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 um to bypass the guilt or push it back down, you go back into showing up for them. So they will put a guilt, well, like backhanded compliments or go back into even worse. I mean, I have seen people actually hurt themselves to get you to come back to who you were. I've seen clients, spouses, their spouses will actually jump in front of a car, a covert narcissist, just to get you to feel guilty and to rescue them. I have clients where they want to go on a vacation with a girlfriend, and every time they go, guy or girl will do something. This is the covert narc, though. This is the sheep with wolf. This is the wolf with sheep skin. This,
I am so appreciative we're talking about this because I do think, and correct me if I'm wrong, when you have a certain type of profession or even success, do you feel that just because of that, circumstantially, that puts you in a position where you're going to be extra attractive to these types of people?
yes, absolutely. 100%.
This
100%.
is what has been happening back to back to back, where I know when things happen like that, it's because it's, God going, we need to look at this,
Yeah.
where it is an admiration and to where I'm even a little uncomfortable, but
Okay.
then I brush it off because
Okay.
I'm like, listen, like I said, like I've admired people, like I should be flattered. So get over it, Tiffany. And
Yeah.
it's someone doing a great job, being so helpful, so wonderful. It seems like there's reciprocity. It
Yeah.
feels really good. But then as soon as then there's something that shifts where they almost become resentful of me, like jealous of me.
Yes. Yes.
Why does that happen? Is it because it's almost like a form of them devaluing, like now I'm off their pedestal somehow.
Yes. This is their stage from devaluing to discard. This is what's happening. It's going from devaluing to discard. And you're right. I was the best thing when you first met me and I helped you. And now as we move on, I'm setting boundaries, I'm not as available or whatever. And now all of a sudden you're entitled to you're entitled for my, whatever I'm giving you.
In fact, you should give them more. You're not giving them enough.
You're not giving them
Look
up.
at all they do for you.
Exactly. Exactly. Tiffany, I can't tell you. the tears and the emotional pain I have gone through in the past, well, not anymore, but from 2000, I would say right after COVID, to that 2021 to 2023, 2 years of just, it was like, it was raining narc chicks around me.
I, if you went back and listened to my episodes in that period, our timeline even matches, which this is not surprising to me. And my audience who's like diehard and they've listened to all the episodes, they're like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like the timeline matches. And I also think, though, it correlates to maybe your level of visibility. Would you say, like in your business and your success? Do you feel that increased in having those people coming around? I call them vultures. I was not or energy vampires,
Yeah.
but I never realized, no, like these are covert narcissists.
Yes, they are covert narcissists. Yes, and they will see us and pick up. And that's the thing. If we're an empath, we're a light. They want that light. They're gonna do whatever, however, sniffing your wound to get to you to get it. It's empowering, but almost like, where are we living? What is this? But at the same time, it's empowering to see it and recognize it. I mean, I've had narcs come to me and pretend like they're the victim and they're married to a narc. I mean, but that's why my discernment with God and my prayer time and waiting and listening and creating time for the whispers of what's up, who's real, who's not, what's going on is so key. As much as I want to work and because I love to work and create and I'll do all that fun, epic entrepreneur stuff, but creating that quiet time, who's good, who's not, who's real, God, show me because I feel this vibe and I feel that vibe. And then time always tells. Time always tells. So my boundaries are I don't really let anybody too close to my marriage. Even the team I have with my in-house publishing, we're all narc abuse survivors. And I know that they're not just making it up. Time has passed. We all are. And so that's why I mean, it's not that it's like perfect. We have, situations where we need to talk or have agreements, but it's never abusive. It's never discarding. It's never bashing. It's never doesn't get ugly. So, anyways, back to the whole girlfriend thing. Yeah, I had a girl that started sending me clients, buying my books, sharing my books, and it was a little over the top. And I would go to my husband and I'd go, is this a codependent situation or is this a narc? I don't know. And he's like, well, just, take a step back. And I finally set a boundary and oh my God, a tsunami hit my work where all my clients were being contacted and I was being smeared. And I was just remember sitting like this in front of clients, knowing that they just had a conversation with her about me. But I'll tell you, time tells. We never have to do anything. Time will tell. If we are being smear campaign, you just sit back, as painful as it is, and as much as you want to fight and defend, you do nothing and you stay in integrity, their toxicity will reveal. But if you get in there and try and prove yourself, then you create this noise that they can't see who's right, who's wrong. You got to stay and sit back and just watch it unfold as it did for
It's
me.
so challenging for people where there's like kids involved and
Oh,
it's like there's the husband saying the mom is the one, but it's the husband and you want to you want your kids, whether they're grown or not, to know, like, no, this is the real case. But the more you're right, the more you try to show people that, look, this is the toxic person, they're sick, it actually almost makes you look like you could be potentially the crazy one.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I had to sit and think of what I'm going to say if they bring it up, and they did. I just said, I understand there's some words being said about me, and if, I can't remember what, I had a script for each client. I understand there's some words being said about me. Please come to me if you have any concerns or questions about my character or my, certifications or my degree or any of those things, I'd be happy to provide that. That's all I said. And and you know, time will tell. Time will tell. Time will always tell, but that's what we don't know during the smear campaign. We want to fight and defend, and that's what they want us to do. They want us to get roused up and upset and crazy, but when we don't is when they bait themselves.
Would you say that the best thing for people to do who are now even isolating, even a little gun shy about relationships of any kind because they've been wounded, they've been discarded, they've been hurt so badly, what would you say is the best thing to do so that we know isolation, this is not good, right? That's not thriving in life. Is it that we have to create daily time to be still and by ourselves? Is that the magic?
It's a really good question. I do believe in morning routines, exercise, eat right, and work on my energy and really recommit to my boundaries over and over again. I do that. I do that. I happen to be blessed to have a husband that's a member of Al-Anon, and he doesn't care if I say it, for 25 years. I'm a member of Al-Anon and AA. We reason things out. But so I have that support, morning meditation, morning time. I do a lot of Dr. Joe Dispenza meditation. Love him,
I love him too.
love him. So I do a lot of energy work there. And then I'll say, get my workbook because this is a navigation, baby, of how I healed. And it's got in, all my books are got imprinted, but how to get answered. I want to really focus on that. How to get out of isolation is that isolation means you're still got wounds because you're protecting yourself, but in a way that's also keeping you from the light.
Mm.
So if you're isolating, it's okay. Grace, grace, grace. But what's one small step you can take towards thriving? One step, just one a day. Commit to one a day or one every other day, whatever feels okay. Because I will tell you, I have seen so many women stop dating completely, give up on love completely because they don't do the complete work. I've seen women attract narc, like we talked about earlier, narc after narc after narc. And I've also seen women walk around in bitterness, angry, and victimhood, and they're losing their life. And time is the one thing we can't get back.
You guys, you have so many resources here. We've linked them all in the show notes for you. You can swipe up. If you appreciated this raw and honest conversation, take a screenshot, share it on Instagram, TikTok, all the things. Tag me at Project Me with Tiffany, and I'll make sure that I also tag her as well. Her workbook is remarkable, and getting her book as well, like any of her books that resonate to you first, that is a great step to lean into because staying where you're at without doing some deeper healing around it, I can promise you, and I know you'll vouch for me on this, you will keep attracting these people in different bodies, different ages, different professions, different situations, and it'll hit you like a ton of bricks.
Exactly. And literally a ton of bricks where you are down again for another 3 months, you know?
Yeah, and I don't want that for me. I don't want that for any of you. And there really is healing.
Yeah.
There is healing. Not to say that when I've gotten hit recently by now that I'm understanding it more by covert narcissists, and I was derailed, but the period of time, of course, I'm upset, right? That's
Yeah.
understandable. But
Yeah.
this didn't last months and months and months and months, right? Like I was able to detach
Yeah.
so much faster. And
Yes.
that in of itself is recovery.
Oh, Heck yeah.
It's recovery isn't, I'm not affected by anything. That's actually shows me that you need recovery.
Exactly. 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 We can't detach to the point of not being human. That's your resilience. That's your resilience to get back up, emotional resilience to just see it faster. And that's been my story too. See it faster, recover faster. And now I'm just more like, man, I'm cool being alone a lot. I don't have to have a lot of people.
Same.
I crave being alone a lot.
That's because you've developed a relationship of love with yourself. Like you enjoy being with yourself. I'm quite entertaining. I have many conversations with myself.
Yeah. Love it. I love it. And same with you. And really, I would say that the abuse forced me to get here. It forced me, right?
It's not a way that I would want someone to experience,
Yeah.
but
No,
I would have never gotten here
yeah.
without being forced.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. I wouldn't have done what I've done without being forced.
Well,
No way.
thank you so much for
Oh,
sharing your story and your wisdom and your expertise on a topic that I could have you on for 72 parts. This is why you have your own podcast. It's like there's a lot to unpack on this topic,
a lot.
and it's not just going to necessarily hit you and have you be able to process it, from one episode. You'll probably have to listen to this again and kind of digest it because there's a lot to take in.
There is a lot. There is a lot, for sure. Yeah, and our brain is so quick to rationalize it and justify it just because we don't know what to do with it. We don't understand it. We don't want to. We don't, who wants to look at that stuff? But yeah, watch this again and watch my podcast because I'm going to have Tiffany on and we are just here to raise awareness. We are just here to raise awareness. I will say this. If you have narcissistic parents, that is the most lethal. It just is. It's the most lethal. Second most lethal is relationship, romantic. Third is friend and boss. If you have had a parent that's a narcissist like Tiffany and I, you've got work to do. Accept it and embrace it because there is light on the other side. There just is. But if you had a narc, you can't just call it narc and move on. It's gonna stop you. Life and people and it will stop you. So just do the work. Do the work, man. Just do it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.